Hi, I'm Biji, and in this video, we get cracking on the chapter Biomolecules for your NEET prep. If you're finding me for the first time, be sure to subscribe. That way, you will not miss all the cool videos that I'll be putting up to guide you along in your preparations. So, what are biomolecules? Well, no surprises here. These are the molecules in biological systems. The stuff that life is made of. Well, apart from water, of course. Water forms the bulk of all living systems. What were we talking about? Yes, biomolecules. There are about 6 of them. You must be familiar with these already. First, you have the energy releasing molecules. The molecules that come to your aid after a long day's work. What are these? Yes, carbohydrates. And then you have the building blocks of life, proteins. But there's another class of proteins. These are not building blocks, but they're involved in all life processes. These are the guys doing all the work. They're constantly building things up, breaking them down. They are enzymes. And then we have the master molecule, the code, the blueprint for life, DNA. DNA is the genetic material in almost all organisms, except for a few. The viruses, which have RNA as genetic material. And together, these two molecules form the nucleic acids. And finally, the dreaded fats, the molecule that we all love to hate. But actually, you shouldn't hate it so much. The most essential organ in your body, the brain, is nearly 60% lipids. Now, almost all living creatures, be it plants, animals, protozoans, viruses, are all made up of these biomolecules. Carbohydrates, proteins, nucleic acids, and lipids. That's 4. I mentioned 6. Which are the other 2? Vitamins and minerals. Now, these 2 molecules, unlike the other 4, are required in very small quantities. But they are still very essential for the normal functioning of life. Now you know all this stuff. What you really want to know is how do you ace biomolecules in your NEET exam? And I come right to that. I've analyzed the NEET and AIPMT question papers of the last 30 years. And you know what I found? They like some biomolecules better than the others. Not too fair if you ask me. And the NEET favorite so far has been, wait for it, enzymes. Yes, there's been at least one question on enzymes in every NEET paper so far. And in this topic, you need to know everything. Well, everything in your syllabus, I mean. Alright then, enzymes. Enzymes are proteins. At least most of them are. There are a few ribozymes, which are RNA enzymes. And proteins are made up of amino acids. So you need to get a grasp on amino acids, not only to nail the elusive enzymes, but also because your competitive exams like amino acids. Not too much, but just enough. Maybe about 6 or 7 times in the last 30 years. Last time there was a question on amino acid was in 2016, paper 1. Now you don't need to know the structure of every amino acid, but you need to be familiar with them. You need to know some simple things like which is the simplest amino acid, which are the acidic ones, which are the basic ones, which are the ones with sulfur in it, and which are the aromatic amino acids, and things like that. But apart from this, you need to know the structural organization of a protein. You need to know how a mere sequence of amino acids form the final functional protein with the primary, secondary, tertiary, and the quaternary structures. There's been no question on this concept, but you need to know this to truly understand enzymes. And like I said, you need to know everything on enzymes. You need to know their structure, the components, what is an apoenzyme, a holoenzyme, what are cofactors. You need to know the basics of enzyme kinetics, enzyme inhibition, and the factors affecting enzyme activity. But interestingly, there is one topic that you can probably skip, and that is classification of enzymes. There's been no question on this concept so far, though that is never a guarantee that it will not be asked. But we can probably assume that NEET does not deem it very important as of now. Hope I don't get this wrong. And the next NEET favorite is nucleic acids. Here you need to know the structure of nucleic acids and the double helical structure of DNA. In carbohydrates, you need to know the structure and properties of some of the major polysaccharides like starch, cellulose, glycogen, and chitin. You also need to know the difference between a reducing and a non-reducing sugar. And in lipids, you need to know the basic structural aspects and properties. Pay special attention to the NEET favorite lipid, lecithin. So that's the mind map and the NEET favorite concepts in biomolecules. Hope you found it useful. One more thing I would like to add, don't use these guidelines to pick and choose what to study. You cannot study any of these things in isolation. Study the whole chapter and use the guidelines to decide what to focus on. The best way to go about it is to jot down a few points on each of these concepts and use that for revision 1 or 2 days before your exam. This way you will create a very short and effective process for revision. So that's all, folks. Next I will be making video on each of these concepts and I will cover everything you need to know on enzymes. Please subscribe and turn on the notification. That way you will know as soon as my next video comes up. Good luck on your NEET prep.